Hey guys, welcome to a new exciting tutorial from Pimcore. Today I will show you the to-do list tutorial. So we made the to-do list so we can add a new task and edit. We can, so it's done, and we can delete this. So we can filter by the all and the done. And if you checked some, you can see it under done. That's simple filter. So let's get started. First of all, the base of the tutorial is our login. So we had this tutorial some weeks before, the simple user object login. And if you have seen this tutorial, we start right at the end of this tutorial. And now you can see, I get some bigger screen. Now you can see we have the out controller, a dashboard controller. This dashboard controller we will change to our to-do list. So we can see it here, this view, and the login, register, default layout. Okay, now this is our admin page from the tutorial before. And here you can see the objects, the admin test object and the test object for the authentication. The first step is we create a new data object and we call this to-do item. To item. Okay, after we create the to-do item, we can add our panel. And in the panel, we use an input field and we call this task name. And we add a checkbox. And there is under others checkbox. This we call is done. And we need the relation, a many-to-one relation, so I call this user. Okay. After this, we save. And now for some testing, we add underneath the admin test user a to-do item called new item. Add a task name, new task item, and add a user. So we forgot something. You can see there is allowed objects and we only allow the user. We save this and reload the new item. Now we can add our user. So save and publish. And okay, now we created the first class. We need the to-do item. Okay, let's start with the dashboard view. So we had here the dashboard and we need some overview. So okay, now we had the route for our dashboard. We had here the is granted, and the is granted is to view this page only for the authenticated users. We get the user with this get user, and then if user not the user is instance of user, we can add a flash message. So no user found, and we redirect back to the Simple Auth login page. Okay. Then we need all our to-do items. So the to-do items will be a new to-do item listing. And now we need some conditions. So the to-do items, add condition, and we use the parent ID. So you can see this in the view here. Here, the new item has a parent ID from the admin user. And now we filter all to-do items to get it by the parent ID. So the to-do items, we need a set order key by the creation date. So the last created is on top. Then the order descending. Okay. And then we render the default page. So we create a new folder for the dashboard and add here a new Twig file. I call this maybe index.html.twig. And we extend the layouts default. Layouts default. There is our bootstrap and style CSS. Okay, and here we need some sections. This section has a class of view height 100 and a gradient custom. Then we add a div container. And this is a container and has a Y padding of 3 and a div container that is a row, a flexbox, justify content center, align items top, and have 100% height. Then another div container, the column, XL10. Okay. So we save this and hopefully we can go to our localhost and our dashboard. And we forgot the correct file. This is the index file, dashboard index, and add the to-do items we filtered. Yeah, okay. Now we add the wonderful gradient, and now we add the card, the div card. Body. This is padding 5. Inside this, we add a form. So this form is our input task, and we add here the task input, the comments, and the form needs also a class deflex, justify content center, align items center, margin bottom by 4, and action we need, and the action is simple path, and we need to add this action. We add dashboard underscore add to add our so now we have the form. We need a class form outline fill, so the item get the whole width, and there is input, so we need this text form control, name is task, and the placeholder is new task. So it looks fine. Then we need a button, and the class is button info, and we start at 2. Okay, we reload the page and we get the error for the dashboard add. So we create in our dashboard controller a simple function add action. Okay, so first of all we need the request, and we need the hashtag for the route. The route is out dashboard add. That's okay. The name is dashboard add, and the method is post. You can only access the route with a post request. And we reload the page and look, yes, there is our item where we can create later the task description. Okay, we don't want to click add, and now we go to our index file. Before we add the tabs, I add here some flash messages. So the flash message is when the user is not logged in, or the add input brings some errors, and we need to show this the user. So we get here some flash errors. The next will be some tabs, and these tabs are this, so you can see better where the tabs are. The tabs are our filter listing for all, opened, and done. Okay, now tabs MB4. We have here the list item. Let's scroll up a little bit. List up, list item, and the list item has a class. The class is nav item, and here we had, so the link is our dashboard index, the dashboard link without the index. Then we get the highlight. The default of the highlight is empty, and in other case it's active, and we name it all. Okay, and now we copy this 2 times and name the second one dashboard underscore filter, and the dashboard underscore filter, and add some params. The params are for filtering, and we filter by done. So this is done. And the second one is opened. So we add another filter here and name it filter. Oh, there is some spelling problems. Done, not done. Okay. This should be not active, not empty. It's not done, and here it's done. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's look if there is some error. Yeah, there should be an error. We had a path, and the path is not in our controller. So we create also here an empty path for the filtering route, and this should be the filter action. Here we had the request, and we also need a string called a string called filter. We need to return a response and add our route. So the route is not this, the route should be filter. And after this, we add the keyword filter keyword. In our case, there is done and not done. So the name should be filter, dashboard filter. Okay. Now we reload the page and we can see, yes, there are all opened and done. Good. And now we need the content of every tab. And I add here the tabs content. We clone this and I close this. So you get later on the full HTML Twig files. You can copy this and I copy the script inside, and now you can see we had the tab content, add here the panels and the IDs of the panel, and here for task to do items. In our case, the to do items, we iterate through the to do items, and here are some inline styles if the task is done or not done, and there is the to do delete item, the task name. Okay, I reload the page and there are some to do delete path inside, and we need to add this the same way. I clone this dashboard and we call this maybe delete and add and back, and I need some ID. Here we get the integer and say ID. Okay, now we add the route. We reload the page. That's the wrong spelling. Dashboard, delete. Okay, now I can see we had this. There is, at the moment, is here nothing. And now it's time to add some functions. Okay, the first function is the add function. So now we can add some tasks, issues, to do's, call it like you want. And at the first row, we copy this line. So yes, I know that's duplicate some lines of code, but this should be a simple tutorial, and later on you can do this by a trade or something else. Now we need to look if the request has a task, and by default it's empty, and if it's not empty we can do our magic. Our magic would be add task to DB. So we need the to do, we need a new to do item. So we create the to do item. Then we need the to do item parent ID, and the parent ID is the user ID. So we can show you. Then we create underneath the admin test.com the new task item. So, okay. Then we add a key. So that's not the right one. We use a service from Pimcore. And this is the Pimcore model element service. And here you have so many helper, and we use the get valid key. We generate a custom key for our items. And for this item, I get the request, get task, so the name of the task, and we add a minus and add an CRC 32 unique ID. The same named task is possible to add multiple times. Okay, and at the end of the valid key, we need the type of the key, and the type is the object type. Okay, so with this, we generate a unique key with the name of the task item. Okay, then we need to set it published. If we do not set the published on true, no user will see her tasks or its tasks. Okay, then we need the task name. That's maybe mandatory. And then we add the to-do item, not the creation date. We set the user to our user, or this get user. So we need the user object. Okay, now parent ID, and these are the inputs. So you see here, this input will set here and here. And after this, we save the object, and now we can return. And in our case, we need a return to route dashboard. And by default, we will return a redirect before we add a flash message. Because if you return by this route, there will no message visible. But if we do not have a task name, we should see an error. Task cannot be empty, and nothing of this is done. Okay, now we just tested it, and we reload the page. We add a new task. Copy this, so we create a second one. We add it. Yes, there it is. So maybe I add an empty task, and we can see task cannot be empty. This is the flash message. Now we add the same task name, second one, and we have two same tasks. Now we have a look at Pimcore. We reload this tree of the user, and you can see the new item is manually created, so no IDs in the prefix. And we had here the same tasks. Okay. Now we will check the done button. And in this case, we need the new action called done. Maybe, no, not edit. We call it done. The ID is the right one, and we say done. Okay. Now we create a public function, a done action, and not this. We had here the same as before. We copied this one just for safety reasons. And then we add a to-do item. But in our case of the done part, we get the to-do item get by ID. So we get this task by the ID. And now, first of all, we look if is task and to-do item, or is it another object? If it's not a to-do item, there is no task found and we redirect back. So in other cases, we set it to done, the item, and save the item. And then we return this. Now I have a simple JavaScript, this script. It's a really simple, stupid script. So it grabs all task list items and adds some specials on it. So the is done part with switching the classes. And if it's checked, there will be set a fetch. So we can load this by an Ajax call. You can see the route and wait the response. Yes, that's okay. And in this case, we want not to return the redirect to route. In this case, we return a JSON. We'll return a success true and an URL. And this URL is not hard coded. This generate URL dashboard. Okay. Now, after I click the button, we need to Ajax call our done with the ID, and then we reload the page and see the checked task. But first of all, we need the JavaScript. So we go to this file scripts bundle. So, okay, here. Script, JS, JavaScript. Yeah, perfect. That's all what we need. So we reload it and just test it. Add. Maybe there's an error. Ah, yeah. DOM ready and click. Okay. I see the error is really simple. We had the wrong in the JavaScript. So we had the wrong route. It's out dashboard. Okay. And we can see there is an error. This error should be here. We had here set is done, not done. Okay. Now. Yes, you can see there is a true and an URL comes back. But the page would not be reloaded. And now we just have a look what's going wrong. We add some CSS in our scripts here at the bottom. We add an is done. And now on reload, perfect. Now it's possible to check and uncheck. We reload the page. This is checked. We click on it and we reload it. It's not unchecked. So why this happens? And you can see it in our is done. Is done is always true. But if we say other than it's done, we can switch it simply. So on click, now it saves the other state, so false. And we see reload. Okay, that's done. Now we click it on, we reload the page and it's saved correctly. Now we need to check the filters, and we also use this. Maybe this it's time to refactoring later. And we also need the to-do item. That's like the same. We load our to-do item by ID. And if the to-do item is an instance of to-do item, we delete the item. And then we return a redirect route to dashboard. Okay, that's it. Okay, reload the page. And we delete the second one. It's delete, and you can see it's deleted. Now we refresh in Pimcore and you can see nothing here. Instead of deletion, you can change the published state also. So you can leave the items inside Pimcore but unpublish it. But in our case, the simplest way is to delete this. Okay, this was quite simple and fast. And now we should filter. We also copy this one. So we had a simple error message and we need a listing. So we need the listing. Then we need the same condition as before on top. We need all items called by the user ID. And then we show if the filter is done. When the filter set to done, we add a condition is done true. Maybe you can write it inside this, but maybe we shorten this a little bit. Okay. Now, else if the filter is not pending, it is not done, we set the filter to 0. But 0 is in Pimcore a little wrong. So we need to understand this state. Okay, by default, is done is always null. So if no one changed the state of this checkbox in the database, there will be a null. We can change this to false and save it. So we need to save all other items. Okay. And now Pimcore set is done to false. And if we filter by false and no one changed the state, you cannot see the filtered values. Okay, so the done filter, maybe I forgot something here, the order states. Okay, so we add the order states and now we return this render and we render the index view and we add the to-do items and we add the highlight, and the highlight would be the filter, so we can highlight the tabs. Okay, now reload this and you can see these two tasks are opened. Done, we haven't any item. We add done, we go to done and you can see one item opened and all together. Okay, so this is the first simple item. And now we add a little logout item at the top. This is, we called it include. And so I look at this template. So where we created, we created a dashboard, new Twig file. So I copied this. You can download these files later and you can see I had here a navigation HTML Twig file. Inside there we had the logout function from our simple logout and the name and the icon. Okay, how we get this on top of the view? We go to our index page, and at the very top of the index page, after the section, we add an include. Include, and in this include we add the dashboard navigation twig file. And save this, reload this, and you can see there is a logout button. And now you had the simplest to-do list. Now, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Have some fun. Like our video and abo the YouTube channel from Pimcore Casts. Maybe visit our website. We had some interesting blog articles on there. Now you can look at the description of this video and check the video of the Simple Auth and download the files, the JavaScript, CSS and template files. Then you can easily follow this tutorial. So bye, see you next time.